Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Mesorat Visual. I am Dominic, and in this video I'm going to share with you the process of creating architectural elevation drawings of a standard you see on your screen. This is important, of course, if you want to create drawings for your portfolio presentations. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. But before we start, let me take this opportunity to thank all our subscribers for their keen support. This is the best way to support our channel in order for us to keep on creating content like this. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. This came as a request from one of our followers or a member from our community WhatsApp chat group. If you want to be part of this group, please check the link on the description and join the like-minded team. So to get started, I'll use the project that we created in previous video. If you remember very well this project, I'll put the link at the top right corner, also on the description if you want to watch that video. I'll also recommend you to do so before you can proceed with this one. So the first thing to do is to cut our elevation. I'm going to use the front elevation, but before we do that, let's just appreciate the project. First, let me put this on 3D. This is the view that we are going to develop, the front elevation. Okay, so let's go back to our ground, and I would select the elevation marker. If you don't have this in your drawing, you could go to the viewpoint to place an elevation marker. It's just by specifying the 2 points and the direction or the viewing direction of your elevations, like that. All right, so from there I would select the elevation, right click and open with current view settings, or you could just come here under the view map and locate the elevation and open it from there. So I'm going to open it, wait for it a second to load. All right, so here we have our elevation. We need to develop it now to the standard that I showed you earlier, and I'm discovering some of the things that we need to get rid of, such as we have zones in our elevation. You could see this is a zone, and we'll have to also address the standard of this story levels. I don't think they are too big for my likings, and we're going to add more elements such as the background, trees, and to make this very presentable and interesting elevation. So in order for you, if you don't know how to bring your zones in your elevations, because are also very important, especially on sections, you would want to reference your spaces in relation to your zones from the floor plane. So it's very critical to show the zones on elevation. You have to go to the options menu from the top of your interface. Then if you go down to project preferences, and then under legacy, if you click on legacy, you would see this box say hide zones and their associated labels on section type views. So elevation is part of the section type view. So I'm going to check this box, then hit OK to hide the elevation. Another alternative is to create a layer and put all the zones in another layer, and then on your elevation you hide it. So you can achieve that in different ways. Okay, here we have our elevations. Our zones have been hide or hidden. So from here we need to reduce the height of our story levels. You could do it either from here by right clicking on the elevation, which is the south elevation, and then go to elevation settings. Let's wait for it to open. Yes, elevation settings, or you go to your floor plan and then select this elevation marker from the floor plan, right click and then open the settings, or you go here on your dialog settings to open the elevation settings. So there are ways of arriving to the elevation settings. So from here, I'm going to go down to the story levels. Story levels, this is the text height. I'm gonna set it to 5. Be careful also, you can have this text overridden by a feature under or a parameter under story levels symbol and text, but be sure before you do that. Here, this is where you can override the text parameters as well, but at the moment they are not overridden. So I'm going to go back to story level text and then set this to maybe 3.5. Then I'll hit OK. If you go back to our elevation, yes, I think they're pretty much at a height that it's for my liking. So yes, I will keep it this way. So another thing to do is maybe to increase this width of the elevation. I'm just gonna drag it from there and do again the side, just to create enough space for the elevation. Remember, this will also affect your marker from the floor plan. So as you're doing this, be mindful that you're also editing the elevation marker from your floor plan. What I mean by that, so if you go back here, you would see here now we have the width of or the length of our elevation being increased. You could either do it here or in your elevations. For example, if you stretch this to there, if you come or go back to your elevation, the window of your elevation will be increased. All right, perfect. Let's move ahead, and the next step is to set up the graphic style of our elevation. This can be either achieved by using graphic overrides and then the elevation settings. So I'm going to make sure the south elevation is open. Then I'm going to right click. Sorry about that. It still wants to generate some polygons. Okay, once it's done, let's right click, then go to elevation settings again, and I'm going to this time around focus on the model appearance section. Let's stretch it down like that to fit all the parameters. And then the first thing that we need to set is the uncut elements, because they are the ones that they are being projected from our elevations. So currently we have the uncut fill uniform. Let me just scroll this to the side so that you can see what I'm trying to explain. So they are on surface color, which is non-shaded. You can either decide to shade your elements within your elevations. For example, if you say color fill shaded and then hit OK, you would see now your elements will be now on the true representation. I think they have been prohibited by the graphic override style. We don't want to use graphic override style. Let's say no override. There we go. Let's go back again. Elevation settings. And I would say uncut elements should be, if you say you want to shade the color fill, you want to use the surface and then shade your elements, you can hit OK. You would see you will have your elements in true representation of their surfaces, which is either, this is according to what you want to achieve. If it's your preference, let it be. So in this case, I'm going to keep it this way. And one thing that I need to do is to make sure all the elements are clearly picked in terms of the surfaces. Okay, so I will have to go through each element and see. We can also try other styles. Let's go back. And maybe this time around, let's check with the texture fill. This will give us the texture fill. And then one thing to do is to make sure the surface cover fill foreground is checked. Let's hit OK. Yeah, perfect. I think this is pretty much better than the previous. I'll keep it this way. Right. I'll develop this elevation based on this graphic style. All right. One thing that we need also to be very, very careful with is the shadows. They might, overshadows or hint. We need to reduce the intensity of it. So to do so, let's go back to elevation settings, and if you go down below here under shadow section, currently it's at 25% shade. So if we have, you can go lower than 25. It's 12.5%. I think it will be a soft shadow like this. Perfect. This is impressive. So we'll develop this based on this graphic style. Then let's move on to the other item, which is now providing depth to our elevation. We're going to do that by also introducing elements such as trees, basically the background. I've prepared some images to cater for that. So I'm going to go to the folder. This is what I've prepared for this. So if you want to also follow along with this tutorial, check the link in the description to download all these assets I've created for this tutorial. So I'm going to take this. Unfortunately, with ArchiCAD, you can't select all these elements and then bring them once. I don't know, from previous versions, sorry about that. Previous versions, we used to have that feature. So you see, it's just one element. So yeah, I'm going to put it somewhere there, and then make sure it's at the back. Let me move it like that. Something like that. Maybe let's move it to this side. Okay, I'm gonna bring another tree graphic. Let me go with this one. And put it somewhere here. Okay, of course we need to have the extent of our earth to continue all the way to. I can use a fill to do that, but I'll do it later. Let me finish off with the background first. Let me bring another element, maybe this tree. I'm just gonna drag and drop it that way. Move it maybe to the center like that. Okay, I'm going to bring another element. So if we zoom in here, we have, these are our planter. So we need to have some plants representation on it. So it's formed part of our balustrade. So I will need to represent that. I've created also something like that, which is this. Let me, sorry, what's going on? All right, let me see if this would do the work. I'm gonna Control K to scale this down like that, right click and bring it to front. Okay, I see the problem. The problem is that it's not set to be transparent. So if you go on your info box here, you'd see, let's check the transparency, and yes, pretty much like it. I'm going to scale it down again, Control K, keyboard, drag it down a bit like that. Maybe move it to this side, something like that. I'm going to duplicate also a couple of copies like that. Perfect. Let's select all the elements, then hit Ctrl G to group them. It's very important. I'm going to carry a copy to the other side, to the other planter, which is this point, and then get rid of the two. Nice. Okay, so we pretty much have the background in place. We have trees. We can also add one last element, which is maybe having some birds flying above the roof. So I have the silhouette for that, which is this. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm gonna drag it down there. Select it, set it as a transparent image. Perfect. I'm not sure I'm happy with the intensity of the color. I think we'll have to tone it down so that it can match the other background materials or background elements. So I'm gonna delete it. Let's open it in Illustrator. Where is it? Oh, sorry about that. Let me just go straight away on Illustrator. Open it from here. File, open your beds. All right, I'm gonna select this, then use the embedded feature. Oh, sorry about that. I might just reduce the opacity to 58 or 30, something like this. Let's file, export as, then make sure it's PNG. Name it bed silhouettes. Export. Okay. Then let's go back. This is our newly created image. Place it this, make sure it's transparent, and I'm gonna drag it over my trees like that. You'd want to make sure it's proportionally sized, so let's Control K to scale this down. Yes, it has to make sense. Maybe drag it a little bit at the top like that. Okay, and then I will I think I'm having an issue. There's a line here created by this image, so it needs to be also set to be transparent, like that. I might fill maybe this gap by introducing another tree. I'm going to copy this one, set it to transparent, something like that. All right, just to create a thick background. Let's see if we can introduce another tree. These two we haven't used. I'll take this one. And then I'm going to put it on ground level, stretch it that way, make it transparent. Oh, it's the same tree with this. I thought it's different. Let's try a different one. Maybe this one. Sorry, I'm gonna move it right on 0. move it to the side, make it transparent. And this one I'm going to scale it down, Control K, scale it down a bit like that. Yeah, something like that. And I might also want to, close this gap by introducing another one, which is this one. Yes. Control D, move it to 0. I'm gonna drag it down like that, make it transparent. Maybe scale it down, Control K, scale it down a bit like that. Okay, so this is subjective. You can create whatever style you want. Maybe some would prefer this to be more or less dense than this one, so it depends, to be honest. You may play around. Maybe copy this one to the other side as well. Scale it down a bit. Something like that. Okay, so we need to create a base, because our earth, this is created using the what you call the mesh from the floor plan. If you go to our site, you would see we've created that using our mesh, and it's just on the plot boundary, it's on the plot extent, so we need to have the other one outside. So I can just take one of the points, then offset all edges, to drag this for a larger space like that. Of course, it affected the dimensions because we're dependent on that, but this is not the focus. Focus is on our elevation, so I'm not gonna worry with this much. So I'm gonna go back to my elevations, as long as this point is been solved, which is perfect. We will come later, because I will have to create another video for your site plan, how to create sections for the same project, because there was a request that we need to develop this project into and produce or generate different drawings. So the elevation is the first drawing. We started by creating the modeling from the previous video. Like I said, check the link on the top right corner, or I'll also put the link on the description for that video. So you'd want also to treat the bottom of your trees by introducing maybe some shrubs and grass like that down below. I think you have to be careful with with your imperfections, because in reality, in nature, there is nothing perfect. So this will be in different sizes like that. I'm gonna move it, maybe there. Take this one somewhere here. Also change the size. Control Shift D to, given more time, I could now try variety of trees instead of using this one group. Maybe the plants, I would find more plants that I can create more kind of a calabash of plants, something like that. Okay, so but it makes sense. I'll do the same to the side. I can just copy the same groupings to my site. I'll right click, maybe send it to back, and make these ones transparent. Oh, they are transparent. Let's send them back. Send this back. This one is the one that is not transparent. Okay. nice one. I don't know, I would want my ground base to cover this text if it's possible. Let's go back, and but my elevation ends here. I don't know why it's being cut here. Okay, anyway, we can leave it that way. It's not a big problem. We have a little bit of an issue here. I think our pool is beyond the terrain, so we can either pick it from here, then stretch it, or increase the height, maybe 3 meters. Wait for it to generate. The change is perfect. So that has been sorted. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next elements, which is placing some annotations. Before we do annotations, I would want us to introduce some grid lines to this, to add a little bit of another layer for information. So let's go back to our ground floor, and I'm going to activate the grids under document, grid element, and I'll start with this wall, stretch it all the way to maybe there. Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to stretch it to somewhere there. I think it's too far, maybe here. It depends the position of the grids where you want them to be. I would prefer it to be at the top, the grid code. So I might mirror this, Control M to mirror this. Let's see. You can mirror it or go to grid settings and then change the position of your marker. So I want it to be at the other side. So I'm going to have it there like so, and this I'm going to give it where is the code section? Okay, here's the naming. Give it A, Control Shift D to make a copy for that. How many do we want to add? So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm gonna make a copy. This, the grid needs to be on the center line of my wall, so I'm going to move it right on the center. Sorry, this is not the grid that I've selected. Okay, so let me start it from here. Move it on the center. Yes. Take this one. Put it there. Move it back on the center by 1 and 5. Okay, how many did I place? It's 1, 2. We want another one on this wall. Position it by the midpoint. All right, pretty much we have 4, so I'm going to name them accordingly. This will be grid B, this C, and finally this will be D. This is not perfect, it's not accurate, but for the sake of this demonstration I'll keep it this way. I'll just place this 4 of this. Technically we'll have also horizontal grids that will represent numbers like that, but for the sake of progress and time to manage this video, I would just have this because they will be captured on our elevation. So if you go back, perfect, we have now grids, okay, so with some dimensions as well. They are automatically placed from, in our elevation. Okay, perfect. There's a library that I've created, a pack of human silhouettes I introduced previously. I think check the link on the description also to download that library. So if you go to File, Libraries and Objects, Library Manager, let's wait for the window to open. Yes, this is the, where is it? It should be on the list here. This is the MS BIM Human Silhouettes library. It's very, well curated pack for the human silhouette. So to load it, you just add, and then after extracting it from the folder, and then you have to locate where the folder is, and then you load it from there. Okay, let me just cancel this. I'm going to place the elements for the silhouette. You are using object tool. Let's open the object settings, and here I'm going to locate the folder. It should be on the embedded library. Yes, is it embedded or linked with the latest version of ArchiCAD? There's some problem with the, or you can just search. Say if you say 2D silhouettes, just wait. There we go. Here's the library. Yes, you can play along. I'll start with this one. Make sure the rotation is on 0. Hit OK. I'm going to place it right at this door like that. Go back again. Introduce another one. Should be right near the pool. I'm going to place couple of silhouettes like that. This I'm going to select, right click and bring it to front, and bring, how many are they? Then I'll have another one, last one, if I think maybe this young boy. Something like that. All right, so now it's the time for us to place the annotation. Okay, I'm going to use the new feature. I think it came with ArchiCAD version 28 keynotes feature to do my annotation. I can't express myself in terms of how this is a life changer. It revolutionized the way we're doing our annotations in ArchiCAD. So you will have to create your database. So if you go to document and keynote, you have to create your own database of specification or annotation or keynotes to use in your project. So this is what I've created. So if you want also this, I've shared it with the previous video. I'll also put the link on the description in front of you if you haven't downloaded this before. So I will click close it, and to use the keynotes, we are using the annotation or the label tool. So let's go to document and activate the label tool. So I'm going to to annotate is an art as well, that you need to be or put into consideration before you can just place all over some labels or some text. You need to decide which side it's suitable for which side and the style of your annotation. So by looking at my drawing, I have this negative spaces that I want to fill because I want to create more like a hierarchy as well for my composition. Treat this as a composition guys. So I will have to fill up this and then also frame up my drawing with this one. At the top, I don't think I'll have any annotation here because I already have you know, a straight line that I want to define or to frame up my composition. So I will start on this side and pick the roof, and there we go. We have this. It will pick the previous settings of the label which I was using it in floor plan. So in this case, I'm going to open its settings, then go under the pointer and then activate your pointer. Let's go down under the text label as well, set this to be 0, which is the orientation, and then hit enter. I'm going to drag this by using stretch command. Then I'm going to start it from here. I would want it to align with this information, with the story levels, to be precise. You know, I'm gonna maybe somewhere there. Perfect. And you'll have to decide with what type of the style of your pointer, either this, you know, free or organic lines, or you'd want straight lines. For example, I would want to keep it straight, so I'll have to come here and then introduce this one. And also the pointer, it's key what kind of a pointer you're looking at. You'd want the arrow or a dot, you know, that is up to you. So in this case, I'm going to use this generic arrow, and then you can also set it to a different color if you want, but in this case I'm going to leave it as pen 45. Then I'll hit OK. So this is how it is. It's subject to change as well, but before I do that, let's now load our keynote. So I'm going to double click and open the text. Let's delete it, and then we have this new or introduced feature within the text tool, which is to insert a keynote. When you click on this, it will give you the database for your keynote that we just went through. So in this case, I'm looking for the roof section. I have added a concrete slate tile keynote. So here is the arrangement of the hierarchy of my text. I would want to have a title, then the description. I can also introduce the number, the code for that particular keynote within this, because it's very important. I can also create a key if I want, but a legend if I want. But in this case, because I'm having a title and then the description, there's no point of me introducing the code, because the code is very important if you use it as a reference, if you are referencing that code to a legend, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start by adding the title, then the description within to formulate my specification or my keynote, and then I have to separate them. I'm going to break it down because this is the title, which is concrete slate tiles, and then the charcoal gray is the description. So I'm going to put the cursor here, then enter to break it down into 2. So if you click outside to complete that, you would see your specification. So I'm going to stretch it. I'll pick the point, then stretch from your pet palette and stretch it to align it with your text like that. Also, it's very important justification of your text. In this case, I would want it to align because the composition, I want this to be the frame or the edge of the composition. So I'm going to use the justification to the right. Okay, the alignment. Okay, so from there, I think it's too compressed or condensed. So I would want it to be, maybe let's move it somewhere here. You could see how I moved my label. Instead of there are 2 ways of selection for a label. So you have this one, the first one, where the only way to indicate only points from in your text. If you had to click on the line, it will introduce the other points for the lines. So if you move it this way, the entire element will move depending on, or it will give you different options, different features, commands within your pad palette, unlike when it's just the text. So if you click it here, so you see we have only this stretch. But if you introduce the line as well, if you click one of the points, it will give you these 2 points to stretch. Thought it was helpful for, especially if you're a beginner, you'll have to understand this fundamentals. Okay, so that's how I want it. Okay, and then the other issue is the text, because you'd want, like I said, this is a composition, it's an art to really put it together. So you'd want your text height to be, to follow some form of hierarchy. In this case, we have the level, we have text for the story levels, and then we have text for dimensions. If you select the dimension, text is around 2.5. This is, we set it to be 3.5. What I want is to have a consistent text height. So this also needs to be either 2.5 or 3. Okay, then do that way. And then because I've opened this, and then the title, I'm going to bold it like that. And then I would like to change the font to robot, same as to the title is robot. Okay, so if you feel there's not much space here, you can do that. Yeah, not bad. I think I might also have to push this somewhere here so that I can stretch. Yeah, just to make it breathe. Yes, I think this format, it makes sense for me. And then we need to sort out the angle of the point. Also I've stretched it. Let's go back and set it to be, here's the angle. I'm gonna set it to 60. Yes, that way. And then let's move on to the other element. So I'm going to pick parameters of this text by Alt and hold in your keyboard. Then let's select, I'm going to select this steel member, and make sure you oh, wait for that. I'm gonna format it the way, what's going on? All right. Sometimes, and then I will move it. Let's just move it to somewhere there. I'm making, this is a mistake that I'm creating, because I have to, it's very important to, you know, load the specification first, or the node first, and then you can format it, because the text length is different. Some paragraphs are, for example, this one might be shorter or long. Let's see. This will be steel members. I'll use steel channel. Add the title and then add the description. This is not the one I want. Let's go back. Okay, this is the one. Add the title and then the description, and separate or break it down. Then this is going to be bold. Perfect. So you see this one is more shorter than that one. And then we need to address this issue of the pointer. Let's see. Okay, changes to that one, something like that. But I don't like the 90 degree angle, because they will compete with the elements within the drawing, because there's lines. So I don't want that. I want, because this is secondary information, I want it to be slanted or angled so that you can reference it easily or pick it easily. So let's set it to maybe 60 or 70, something like that. Perfect. And then we move on to the other elements, which is going to be the glazing. Let's add the note. This is going to be under openings, glazed door. Oh, sorry about that. The title, then enter to break it down. This is not supposed to be bold. Okay, so make sure we bring it to align it with the other text. Then this one we can set it either 0 or 90. Let's set it 0 and see how it will be. Something like that. Okay, we move to another one, which is the railings. Double click to open the text, delete this, insert keynote, railings. If you have, yes, there we have. Add the title, then the description. Enter. Make sure this is not bold. Stretch it to align it with the other text. Set it to 70. We have another one, which is this. I could just pick the parameter of this. It's the same specification. Then set it like that. Go back to the settings and make this 70. Yeah, or maybe 60. Wow, 50. Yes, I still feel this should be an equal distance between the nodes, and I don't think it's aligned. So if I had to draw a line to check if my text is aligned, so it's very important. It depends on the standards you want to achieve. So if you feel it's okay, it's okay. Yeah. So for me, this is very important. Like that. Yes. Okay. Let's continue. We have this is glass. Make sure everything is aligned. And because I have these two silhouettes, I might but I wanted to pick this node for this feature because it's one of the important feature within the view. So but I will have to do it like that. Yeah, maybe I will have to adjust the position of this guy. Yes, somewhere here, and then change the specification inside the node. Yes, this is the hollow section post. Add also the description. Enter to break it down. Then make sure it's unbold. I'm going to stretch the top. I don't know, the way it's been formatted from the keynote is not the way I would want it to be. So I'm gonna go to the document and open the keynotes window. Let's adjust this whole section. So it's been broken down into pieces. I will fix this here. The good thing with the keynote, once you made changes here, if you click, everything will be updated. Where this is being placed in your drawing, it will be captured, it will be updated, which is one of the important things. Okay, so I have it this side. I can delete this line for guideline. Yeah, there we go. I think I might reduce or increase a little bit the size of the text, because this is too big for the story levels text is big. So maybe if I to set this to be 3, I know it will mess up everything, so I'll have to readjust, which is not a problem. This shouldn't take me let's say okay. This I might move it somewhere here. Okay, maybe bring it to this platform. Okay, so pretty much like it. So from this side we're done. We need to move on to the other side, but be aware with these angles. So I'm gonna set it to 70. Yes. Okay, I might introduce another one here because we have this wooden elements, or this one. So it depends. For the sake of this, I will just keep it somewhere here. Okay, I'm gonna move to the other side and do the same thing. What do you think? I think the text of the story levels we might reduce it a bit. Then yeah, I think let's do that. Elevation settings. Like I said, it's an art, so you have to, try things, test many times and see what works. So what works is the one that you are looking for. Story marker, story levels. Sorry, story level text. Set this to be 3. Yes. Yes. Perfect. So I'm gonna move to the other side and do the same thing. So I will give you the chance to finish it off from this side, and then I'll see you after we finish the entire drawing. Decided to complete the remaining section with you. So let's quickly do that. So I'm gonna activate the label tool, and then I'll start with this garage door, because it's a very interesting garage door we are having. So it's more like a bifolding tilt-up garage door with the slated of aluminum strips. So we also need to create a keynote for this. So let me place the label first, then I will have to mirror it to the left side. Let's mirror it that way, and I'll have to decide with the positioning of the labels. So let's go to document, keynotes, and create a keynote for this garage because we don't have it here. So I'm going to go to the section of openings, then go down here and insert a new keynote. So I'm going to follow the same code arrangement or code system. So it's going to be OP3, right? Then will be slated modern garage door. Oh, sorry, door should be 2 zeros. 2 Okay, then I'm going to now write in the description: modern vertical bifolding tilt up garage door, slated aluminium. I could have, this should be before door. Yes, modern vertical bifolding tilt up garage slated aluminum door. Tilt up, let me see. Oh, sorry. Oh wow, how do I bring it back? Modern, can I read? No, I can't. This is modern vertical bifolding tilt up slated aluminum garage door. Perfect. So I'm going to close this window, then double click to open the text for the label, then get rid of that, insert the keynote, and move on to our opening. Wow, it didn't change the name, so it's fine. Let's edit, then add a description. Okay, if we go here, we need to break it down into 2. This should be not bolted. Okay, so I have to go back to my keynotes, then rename this to modern, I could say just garage door. Okay, yes, steel wood coated metal garage door. Yes, then that will be automatically updated to my label. So I'm going to open the settings and set the angle of the leader to 70, something like that, or can just make it 0 because it's right on the level of my label, something like that, and bring it a bit higher. Then we can stretch it all the way to there. Perfect. So I'm going to do the same to our railings. Drag it back to there, double click, get rid of the content, load the railing, add the title and then the description. Okay, break it down, not bold, move it all the way to there. We have the glazing, and move it. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, there we go. We can move it all the way to there. Double click, get rid of the content, insert. This is the railing. Okay, no, this is not the railing. This is the openings, which is metal windows. Enter. Move it to there. Perfect. We have the channels. This. Double click. Insert. Still, we've used this. Unbolt. Maybe move it down. Yeah. And last but not least, okay, let me do this before we do the roof. Move it out. Oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? It's not picking my label. All right. I'm gonna move it out. So this is basically the same specification, which is a plus. Then finally we do the roof. I'm gonna move it there. Double click, get rid of the content, insert the new under roof like so. Break it down. And stretch it all the way like that. Might bring it down a bit like so. And then I would like to put my dimensions at the top here like that. Okay, so thank you so much if you made it to this far. I really appreciate your time. You want to get the final project or the final result, check the link on the description, and don't forget to like and share this video if you feel it's beneficial for others. So up until next time, bye bye.